so sick. The feeling, man. It's like you're just giving like a piece of yourself out there to them. Like that old expression, if it's for 5 or for 500, go out there and just slay it the best way you can. If you need to zone out and be in your own world, that's fine. I like to use the flight or fight kind of mechanism. Like I internalize a lot of panic and fear before I go on stage because I'm a very anxious person. You know, like I drive myself nuts and it triggers this like fight or flight response, and I just go out there and I start swinging.
I think all three of us in this room can relate.
Yeah.
I regularly need to remind people when they say like, do you remember this time on stage when this happened or this happened? I'm like, no, I black out when I go on stage.
Sometimes it's a blur. Sometimes it's a blur. Like our first show in Raleigh last year, man, like I don't remember a fucking thing, man. It was just such a blur, but it felt so good after. It was weird. Like, it's like, I don't remember what had just happened, but everyone's cheering, you know?
I mean, it doesn't help me that I also lean on alcohol to calm the nerves.
This last show, man, like I said, I didn't drink for like 3 weeks. Wanted to clear my head a little, and dude, performing, that was like the first time I've ever felt everything while being up there. But after I drank, you know, to calm down, like, because I was, it felt good. It was something strange and new for me, because, kind of having a couple drinks before is always like the go-to. But feeling...
Beer will relax the throat.
Yeah, but too much though.
Definitely don't want to do too much. It also dries the throat, and of course, intoxication will lead to sloppy technique.
Determine your perfect mode.
Two beers before.
Now, Matt said something similar because I think he's still sober as of like 2 or 3 months. And he said that the 2 shows he played with Impulse Machine completely sober was kind of revolutionary because, like, anxiety through the roof, and you don't have anything medicating that. But at the same time, the highs, like, you actually get to see and process the audience interacting.
It's cool, man. Like, it's like untainted, or not. It's not diluted. Like the
unfiltered reality.
Yeah, and it just seeing like the crowd there up in Greensboro. Shout out to them, man, because they brought it, and actually feeling that, and kind of just embracing like that ultimate high, I like to call it, man. It was outstanding, and I wish I could feel like that all the time, but that's not the reality of things. You know?
The people who feel that more often than the average person tend to have their own sorts of problems.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing that kind of goes into the creativity. Like, man, that 3 weeks, some of the really bad lows kind of inspired me to write down ideas, jot them down for something maybe down the road. What I was feeling, because a lot of the stuff we write about is personal experiences, how I felt in a moment, you know, just feeling everything. It's almost like lapel du vide, how like when I came off of antidepressants, when I was finally just done with it, all those feelings came rushing in, and I was just like, what is this? You know, it's been such a long time before I felt these. Oh my God, this is too intense. Like, I felt alive for this, a moment as long as the song. And I was like, I miss this, but this sucks.
Yeah.
It's nice to feel again, but wow, why did I do that to myself for 3 years? Just numb everything. That creativity does start to flow in when you're just not diluting yourself every day and numbing yourself.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
Oh, yeah. I tend to think about, like, any sort of intoxication is always relative. It's relative to baseline. Yeah, if you drink to calm your nerves, or if you smoke to calm your nerves, that's one thing. But if you do that every time you feel nervous, then it's no longer actually calming your nerves. That's your baseline state.
That's your coping, yeah.
Your body's going to catch up to you. And so when people talk about, like, I think when we release this, the last episode will have been about intoxication or altered states of consciousness and creativity. And one thing that I've said before on the podcast I didn't say then is that an altered state of consciousness, if you're an alcoholic, sobriety is an altered state.
Yeah.
It's going to change your brain. It's going to unlock new sorts of thoughts and feelings. Same thing with any kind of drug. It's always relative to your baseline.
I'll tell you, that's kind of cool how you brought that up. So I remember when we were finishing the EP and I went to Texas for a wedding, and me and my wife, we brought some mushrooms for the trip. I couldn't fit, like, the Final Goodbye was the last song I had to write. And I took some mushrooms while we were on the trip, dude. It was kind of like just a little bit, like little micro doses throughout the day. And wow, did everything start flowing? It kind of just like, it was altered state, but I felt more open, I guess. Like I wasn't just, it unstuck me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I was stuck in this one idea that I was just fixated on, and it allowed me to say, hey, chill, dude, for a second. Like, hey, there it is. I just found that, the next part, and everything just started flowing after that, and I finished the EP in that couple days. But I'm not just saying, hey, take some mushrooms and to help you with writing, because you don't want to be like that all the time, I guess. Or maybe you do. I don't know.
And mushrooms especially.
I fucking love it.
They are my favorite drug and also the most horrifying.
Yeah, if you go overboard, yeah. Oh, no.
I go harder, I go home.
Yeah.
Last time I did mushrooms, I got stuck in my bedroom.
Last time I did mushrooms, I did 1.5 in the morning, and I was like, woo, I'm so happy. This is when I came off my antidepressants because I wanted to test out shrooms to see if it helped,
Yeah.
I think I did a little
wonders.
too much, but the second half of the day, I did 1.5 again, and then I was just bawling the entire second half. And I remember running outside to Allie when she got home. And I was like, Allie, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, if I've been a terrible person, I just want you to know that you're like my best friend ever. And I was like,
The epiphany?
Yeah, I was having the epiphany, and I was just like telling everybody that I love them and all this shit. And I was like, oh God. But it helped unlock something inside of me that just needed to be purged. And I think that's helpful for the creative process.
It's a good reset.
Yeah.
It really is. Like Zeke likes to mention, like, the ego death.
Yeah.
If you go on this long run, and I've had, I can be cocky sometimes. You know what I mean? I'm just a happy-go-lucky person. But put me on a good trip, and I'll be like, damn, dude, it'll humble me.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just be like, hey, brother, you're not shit, man. Come on.
Mushrooms are very good at knocking you down a notch if you need it.
I want to microdose. I want to start, like, just a little bit every night before I go to bed. I heard it does wonders.
So, on the topic of vocal technique, some of the most fun I've ever had in the studio is microdosing. I mostly did LSD because that's like a longer microdose. But the amount of awareness you get of your body.
Yes.
You feel every little bit of discomfort more intensely. And then when you hit something right, it's euphoric.
Yes.
And so I've got a couple Impulse Machine songs that have been released. These are especially songs that I wrote before I was a performing musician, before I was recording regularly. I would write, but I couldn't really write to my voice. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't know what it was supposed to sound like. And so if I want to unlock the most essential me or whatever, just a little bit of psychedelics, you'll start to feel yourself. You'll pay a lot more attention to just the sensation of singing rather than being anxious over what does this sound like?
Yeah.
Could I be doing something else? It's
more freeing, really. Like you said, you're not so focused on, oh, dude, did I sound sick there or not? But I've done karaoke on mushrooms. I'm sure Zeke, if you ever ask Zeke about that, you're absolutely right. Like, you feel everything. It's like it's spiritual, man. Like, you do have control over it. It's weird, but not if you take too much. Just enough. I sang for like 3 hours straight, man, and it was all different types of music, and people were just like, wow. Zeke was like, dude, that was really cool. I was freaking out at some points of the night, but...
Oh, yeah, I could not imagine singing in front of people on psychedelics. That would kill me.
Like, Ty says, like, honestly, like, you sounded so good. Like, she's like, better than, than when you're drinking or whatever. It's just different, and honestly, I would love to try that in the studio. Just don't tell Justin. But yeah, vocal technique, I really want to actually try that in the studio, to be honest with you, because kind of putting that don't take yourself so seriously type of thing like in there.
I've been trying to embrace the silly in the studio.
Oh yeah.
Embrace the silly. More often than not, you'll accidentally land on the heart of the matter. You know, that's my experience. I've been trying to push myself more.
It's just like a bunch of happy accidents, dude. Like, because you'll do something accidentally that sounded so sick, and you're just like, whoa, I didn't even think that's how it was going to go, but I'm glad it did. Yeah, the silly. I like to joke around in the studio a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said about the philosophy of humor, but it's really something that transcends just like something not serious. There's a lot of very serious humor that works. And I think a lot of the best lyrics can be described as humorous in some way, even if it's like what's the line from Left 4 Dead? Not funny, haha funny, but funny make you think funny. There's all sorts of kinds of funny. And there's some funny that's like really tear-jerking.
I would like to use Van Halen's song Jump as an example. It's a really happy sounding song, but it's about suicide, and it's kind of funny. It's kind of like, it's ironic. Like, you know, it's so happy sounding, but it's really about something pretty dark, you know?
Leonard Cohen's entire discography.
Yeah. I found myself recently writing lyrics in a way where it starts off humorous and comedic, but then it lands or ends on something serious. So it's sort of like a train of thought, like a word vomit in a way. And then I'll do that process vice versa, where I'll try and challenge myself to write after I've had like a good cry or something.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll try to write until it gets to a happy place or a silly place. But, you know, like, well, at least I'm not dead, you know, something like that, you know, and then that's the concept of the song, you know, it's like
a comedic break.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think for me, comedy is a good way for me to cope and like communicate my struggles and what I'm feeling. Yeah.
It's like you make people laugh, and that kind of goes to like some of the funniest people like are actually the most. They have so much turmoil going on inside them.